Kicks 105.5 WKXH. Good morning. I'm JJ. It is Wednesday, December 21st. It's 7:47. We always do that, 7:47.
Yeah.
I've never been on a... Oops, I had you off. I've never been on a 7:47.
I think I have.
You
I've
would-
been on a few.
You would not get me on one. Not happening.
No.
I'm not a hype person. But we have Mike Barrett from the Barrett Insurance Agency with us this morning. And what are we going to talk about this morning for good policies?
Well, it's something that I thought might be a good topic with Christmas at the end of the week, and that is personal property, interestingly enough. What are you giving for holiday gifts this year? Personal property.
I
What do you really think about it?
I usually give an Amazon gift card.
That too. Okay. Yes. And I do too. But there's a lot of people this season and during the holidays, whatever it is that you're celebrating, Christmas, Hanukkah, it is the season of gift giving. And through the season of gift giving, what's happening? Well, you're acquiring, in many cases, more personal property. So how is that important, or why do I need to think about that? Well, if you have a renter's insurance policy, not a bad thing to consider. Maybe you started a renter's insurance policy a number of years ago with a limit of $10,000 or $15,000. Think about it. Christmas has come and gone. Birthdays have come and gone. Plus the general acquisition of personal property as you need it over time. Do you have enough coverage? Do you have enough personal property or enough of a limit of personal property on your renter's insurance policy? Maybe not. Now, remember, whatever that limit is, that's only saying that's the most they will pay for all the loss of your personal property. It's not that they're going to cut you a check for whatever amount you have on your policy, whether it be a $10,000 or $15,000 or $20,000 limit. That's not an automatic. That's just the most they will pay. So I thought it would be good to talk about that. But more importantly, regardless of whether it's new or not, people could be receiving jewelry for Christmas, maybe an engagement or two. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. So. When that happens, you want to think about those types of items and how they'd be covered on any homeowner policy. Jewelry has a sublimit of theft loss that's not to exceed $1,500. If somebody comes in and steals all your jewelry, the most you're going to get is $1,500 unless you have a policy that's increased that. Most of mine, I have them increased to $3,000 or $5,000. And if there's anything beyond that, we talk about something called scheduling, which I know we've talked about before, but certainly timely to talk about it now. And that is if you're getting a higher value piece of jewelry, whether it be an engagement ring or handing down a family heirloom of a brooch or pearl necklace or whatever the case may be. These are items that have value that may not be properly addressed on a regular homeowner policy. But if you schedule them, meaning you're specifically listing the item with a description of the item, the value of the item based on an appraisal or a receipt based on when you bought it, you're going to find not only you're going to have better coverage on it, including mysterious disappearance, which is not included automatically on a homeowner policy unless you have specifically had it on. It's good to do that. It's very inexpensive to do. Looking at $20 to $30 on average of a cost for a fairly reasonable priced item to have it specifically listed. But what's another thing that could possibly be happening this time of year? Computers. Kids may be getting laptops or tablets, which are computer items, which a lot of weird types of loss can happen to those units or those items. And something to think about with that is many companies, not all, have computer endorsements where you can specifically list, describe, and put a value on a computer, getting a little bit more value and making it not subject to your policy deductible. So let's say, for example, for me, I'll use myself. I have a $1,000 deductible on my homeowner policy. If I had a computer and I had a loss to it, I would have a $1,000 deductible. That's really not going to do anything for me. But if I had it specifically listed, I would have a $100 deductible with the company I'm with. So I like the fact that there's a lower deductible. Not that I would use it all the time, but there may be an instance where you really need to, where it's a very unexpected loss that's occurred to the item, where you don't have the money to pay out of pocket for that right off, and you need it. So let's think about maybe me with my cup of coffee, and I'm on my laptop, and I knock my coffee and spill it all over my computer. That would be covered if I have it specifically listed as a computer on my policy, subject to a $100 deductible. So there are ways to mitigate your exposure. I know most people out there, if not all, or mostly all, are very hesitant to have claims on their policies, and I completely get that. But these are instances where you may be caught off guard and need some assistance. Also consider going from a Form 3 homeowner policy if you own your home to a Form 5. Not every company offers it, but if yours does, I would recommend going to it for $40, $50, or $60, or maybe $70 more a year you're getting broader coverage on your personal property. Where you think about, if you're on an Xbox, or if you have a child who's upset in the house, or if you're using one of those Oculus devices doing a virtual reality where your arms are flailing and you're knocking stuff all over, you could find some coverage limitations on a Form 3, whereas a Form 5 would maybe a better approach to provide protection. So it's kind of ruins the spirit of Christmas to talk about better covering your personal property, but I thought it was something that was pretty timely to chat about.
Yeah, like, you mentioned Xbox. That was something I was going to bring up to you. Game consoles nowadays are outrageously priced.
Yeah.
And the games themselves. A grandson, not my grandson, but somebody I know, wanted a certain video game.
Mm-hmm.
It was $400.
Oh, what?
For one game.
For one game?
Not the console, just the game.
Wow.
That's insane.
I need to ask what game that is at some point. Get an answer.
I'll have to find that
You
out.
need to. I'm curious now. So know what to make sure my son never learns about that game.
Well, my son would have friends over, and he's always had gaming consoles. And sometimes when his friends left, some other stuff did too.
Oh, yeah.
They would take a game home with them, say, "Oh, I'm just going to borrow this," and not tell them about it, and then never bring it back.
Right.
Or someone else stole it from them or something.
Yeah.
So that's something that could be covered, a $400 game.
Yeah, there are ways that you could specifically look to cover that. But the other problem now, too, and I haven't even thought about how this would be covered, but a lot of the games now with like the Xboxes and the PlayStations are virtual. You download them onto your device. So if the device goes, the game goes. Hopefully your account can still pull it back, so maybe you're still going to have coverage. But a physical item that's a game, whether it be a disc or whatever, you might find a way to provide some coverage on, especially if it's a $400 item. That's crazy.
Well, my son had like a suitcase full of Xbox Live games.
Wow.
I mean, checker block full.
Impressive.
And I mean, what are these things worth? If you're in a fire, if you have a fire and all the game console and all those games, that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of games, are destroyed.
Yeah.
Are you going to be covered?
You would have coverage. So if it's a total loss where you're losing everything, if you have an itemized list of those games that you lost and the console that you lost, you'd have coverage. Absolutely.
That's good to know.
So, and you don't have the one policy deductible that you have to adhere to for the whole loss. So it's not like every item would be subject to deductible. So you do have some options there. But certainly in the gift giving season, something to think about with just take a pause and go, that's a $10,000 piece of jewelry that I just gave her. Or him, I just need to better address how that's going to be protected. So,
right?
yeah.
Or my grandfather's Rolex.
Well, that too. I mean, some of the older items that are family heirlooms or precious items from elders in our families. These are things that would really hurt if you lost them. So to know that there's better options, better ways to protect them, protect you, is just good to know. So that's my gift to you, apparently, as an early Christmas present. How's that?
Early Christmas present.
Yep.
All right, so that's going to wrap up good policies. What are you doing this Christmas?
We are celebrating a home. Got a 9-year-old who's totally stoked and ready for Christmas, and we're ready for it too. So celebrate with all the family locally and just have a nice Christmas. Plus, we have family afar, and so we'll be virtually connecting with them through the various portals and Amazon shows and all that, and chatting with them to watch them open their presents. So how about yourself?
Well, actually had this Christmas off.
Nice.
Yeah, I usually work through the holidays.
Yeah.
But this Christmas we get off. And so I will be home, and we'll be having a traditional Christmas dinner. And I'm programming a special 6-hour Christmas edition of the Country Top 40 that's going to play Sunday.
Nice. They've always done a good job with that. So
Yep,
that'll
and
be
they're
great.
playing nothing but old classic country Christmas songs.
I love it. I'll listen.
6 straight hours.
I'll listen. Maybe not for the entire 6 straight hours, but I will listen. So,
All right, Mike, if somebody wants to reach out to you and talk about insurance,
sure.
how do they do that?
Give us a call, 748-5224. You can find us on Portland Street in St. Johnsbury, online, thebarrettagency.com, Google, Facebook, and YouTube. Just look for Barrett Insurance Agency. On Friday, we're closing a little bit early, closing at 3, so not all that early, about an hour and a half earlier than usual. And then we are going to give everybody Monday off for the day after Christmas. But we're then in all next week, and we'll do it all over again.
Back to the grind.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right. Merry
Okay.
Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy Hanukkah, whatever the holiday is you're celebrating. I wish everybody out there nothing but the best and the brightest part of the season. So Hope
Me
everyone does
too,
well.
and I hope everyone's safe out there because we have a storm coming in.
Yes, I already bought a broom so that when Dorothy and the Wicked Witch fly by, I can kind of cruise along with the witch for a while when that wind comes in. So
Yeah, 50 miles an hour
yeah,
wind
we're
gusts.
going to go for a cruise.
Let's go fly a kite. One
There's
of the
gift
big
of the
ones.
season right there.
All right, thanks so much, Mike. We'll talk with you again next week.
Sounds good.
All right, Mike Barrett from the Barrett Insurance Agency right here in St. Johnsbury on Portland Street. Check them out.